Well, big news for Chelsea today. Talk about Alejandro Garnacho and also Xavi Simons and what could possibly happen yet in this transfer window. Now, first, we need to talk about Garnacho because it looks like the player has accepted and agreed to all terms at Chelsea, which is obviously a big thing for any player, especially come from Manchester United to Chelsea, because the wages that he probably did want and was demanding, they probably were not matching at United, and therefore him coming to Chelsea does make sense on those ends because when we do sign these players, especially these younger players, we're trying to keep them on low wages. So if we can bring Garnacho in for a lower amount, it makes total sense that we do try to bring him in for more depth out on the wing. Now, before you again, I'm sure you people are going to comment what you think about him. I do want to dive into this player itself because I do think if you do look at him, he is an actual good player. Now, do I think he has his flaws? Obviously, we will talk about that in today's video. But I think if you look at him as a whole, he still is a very good player. Looking back at his time at United, there are moments and glimpses where he did play very, very well. That doesn't just happen randomly. That happens because he is a good player. Now, last year, I'm going to just chalk up to not only him, but everyone at United had a terrible season, minus Bruno Fernandes. So I'm not going to really factor in last year because, like I said, they just absolutely struggled. That's why we saw him so low in the table and did not win Europa League. And because of that, if you look at the seasons prior to that, some of the goals that this man scored were quite ridiculous. I mean, he scored the bicycle kick. That takes pure talent. That just doesn't randomly happen. Some of the 1-2 plays of scoring from the outside, curling the ball into the back post, that also takes quite a bit of skill. And I do think he has a capability of linking up with some of the players that we have currently at Chelsea. One of the big issues, though, with him is that he's not very good at keeping his head up when he dribbles a ball. We saw this with Noni, and again, that was one of his flaws. This could be the same thing because if he's able to keep his head up, he can hopefully pick apart some of the defense and play some 1-2s, which will make it a lot easier than just trying to beat players on the dribble. Because when he tries to do that, this is where he does struggle, loses possession, and then we can get caught too far forward and get hit on the counterattack. That could be one issue with that. On top of that, his ego is a little bit higher, so again, I would worry about that just a little bit, but hopefully because he's coming to Chelsea with all these younger players, they can kind of keep him in balance and in check, because if they can do that, he can constantly get better and better, and maybe that will obviously get to where his ego's at. But if they can keep him in balance and check, this could be massive for this player, because if he understands his role at Chelsea and that he might not be a full-time starter each and every week, because we do have so many different options, Jamie Gittins, João Pedro Neto, Nico Jackson, who again might be on his way out though, so maybe we don't have to factor him in, but there is a chain of who's going to be starting in that left side. And like I said, if he does start playing well, maybe it makes sense he does start starting for us. But because of that though, I don't think Chelsea now are going to go for Xavi Simons, and because of that, we are seeing RB Leipzig. They have a few friendlies coming up, and it looks like he's going to be part of their squad. So I don't think there's been any bids for Xavi Simons. I do think that Garnacho was the main focus, which is a shame because I think Xavi Simons would have been a great signing for Chelsea, but I don't think we're going to sign both players unless possibly we still have the capability of doing that, and maybe we're trying to finalize Garnacho before we went on to Simons. But it does seem like now that we are not going to be going for Xavi Simons from RB Leipzig, which, like I said, he would have been a phenomenal player. He plays very well inside the 10 role, can play in the left wing, can play as a number 9, can almost do what Cole Palmer does except with his right foot, which again was someone that we probably do need at our club because Cole Palmer goes a little bit cold, and not saying cold like this, but just in general cold like we saw in December. But right now it seems like the main focus is going to be on Garnacho. Now obviously we still have quite a bit left in the transfer window, so anything could happen. We do have a friendly today, so depending on when you're watching this, the friendly against Bayern Leverkusen, we do have one against AC Milan. Again, we can see how that all goes. Fingers crossed, again, no one gets hurt. We obviously have the big blow with Levi Colwell, but overall, few more matches before the season kicks off. So like I said, I think Enzo Maresca is trying to figure out his starting 11 and what he wants to do tactically wise. And if he can figure out all the players coming in and obviously all the players going out, this could be a very good season for Chelsea. I still think, even despite the fact that Levi Colwell now is going to be out for 6 to 12 months with that ACL injury, I do think we're still a very solid team that can compete for the title. And like I said, if we do get the ball rolling quickly right in the beginning of the season, especially with these first handful of matches, win all these matches, the first 5 or so, we will then show how good this team is. We will build that confidence, and like I said, with the rotation with these players, can be massive for Chelsea this season, because we know there's been so many matches, and like I said, the depth is going to become a major factor, not just for Chelsea, but any team trying to compete for the Premier League this season. So I do think they can win it yet. I do want to know what you guys think though about Garnacho, so comment down below, and if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.